always something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
Well, it sure is. Live from the heartland, fighting for you from the foxhole freedom every single day. Who do you want in your foxhole when the chips are down? It's just breaking daylight. We've got a lot of work to do today, so let's get moving. One warning, though, the Steve Gruber Show often results in extended periods of American pride and optimism and uncontrollable enthusiasm in this nation's future. Let's get going here. Three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, Hurricane Aaron still headed west-northwest, but it seems the major hurricane could veer away from the east coast of the United States. Good news, but hurricane season still young. Number two, the cleanup of crime and homelessness is continuing in Washington, D.C., and even though the city residents are all for it, alt-left agitators continue to call it a bad thing. Bad for whom, I ask? They don't live there. And number three, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is meeting with President Trump today in Washington at the White House for the first time since their heated public disagreement back in February. He'll be flanked by some NATO leaders and heads of state as well. And we've said it before, but this could be the end, maybe, of 3.5 years of war. That is, if Zelensky doesn't screw it up. Over 1 million people have reportedly died in this war. Either Zelensky wants the fighting to stop or he doesn't. It's that simple. Hard choices have to be made. Compromises have to be made. He's repeatedly called for a ceasefire, but Trump, well, he has something bigger in mind. A complete end of the war. An end. A peace agreement. He's going all in for something big, not a ceasefire. Vladimir Putin, as you know, met with Trump in Alaska Friday, his first time in the U.S. since 2007. Trump posted this to Truth Social after the meeting. Quote, "The best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement, which would end the war, not a mere ceasefire agreement, which oftentimes do not hold up. This would obviously be terrific, but it's going to come down to the two men who are actually at war with each other to make a deal, Putin and Zelensky. They've got to get this done. Trump was a terrific negotiator, but he's not God, and America is not directly involved in the war. Trump says the two men do plan on setting up a meeting after his productive discussions so far. Listen here.
They're almost 3 hours, and it was very extensive, and we agreed on a lot of points. I mean, a lot of points we're agreed on. But there's not that much. There's, one or two pretty significant items, but I think they can be reached. Now it's really up to President Zelensky to get it done. And I would also say the European nations, they have to get involved a little bit. But it's up to President Zelensky. I think we are, and if they'd like, I'll be at that next meeting. They're going to set up a meeting now between President Zelensky and President Putin. And myself, I guess, I didn't ask you about it. Not that I want to be there, but I want to make sure it gets done. And we have a pretty good chance of getting it done.
A pretty good chance of getting it done. Of course, global stability is always in every country's best interest. A world at peace is a productive one, and no one knows that better than President Trump. So, if anyone's going to facilitate it, he could be the guy, obviously. Secretary of State Marco Rubio reminded the media of this yesterday during a Sunday morning hit. Here he is.
If this morning the president woke up and said, I'm putting these terrible, strong sanctions on Russia, that's fine. It may make people feel good for a couple hours. But here's what you're basically saying. You're saying talks are over. For the foreseeable future, for the next year or year and a half, there's no more talks. Because there's no one else in the world that can talk to him. Okay, Putin's not going to meet with Macron. He's not going to meet with the UK, with all due respect to these leaders. None of these leaders are going to be able to bring him to the table and talk to them. There's only one leader in the world that has any chance of bringing these two sides together. If there is a chance, there's only one leader in the world that can do it, and that's President Trump. And you forfeit that role the minute you put additional sanctions on him. We may get to that point, unfortunately. But if we do, it means that peace talks are no longer possible.
Either you want to stop the killing, stop it, or you don't. How can you yell from the rooftops, I stand with Ukraine, while refusing to consider real options to end the war and end the killing? Well, I don't believe that there should be any concessions of land, Gruber. Well, then they can continue to kill each other for another 3 years, another 1.5 million people killed and wounded. I understand we don't want to reward Russia for its illegal invasion in 2022. I understand that. We don't want to reward Russia for starting this war in the first place. But we don't want to reward Ukraine with more bodies stacked up like cordwood on a battlefield where they can never win. That's not a win, folks. We could talk all day about how effective the tariffs have been financially, but it should be noted just how dominant they've made us as a nation as a whole. Like the president has said many times, including in his press conference with Putin, we've become the hottest country, and world leaders are literally willing to end wars to have a relationship with us. Even though the Russia-Ukraine war has yet to end, this is a complete 180 from where we were under the Biden administration, that's for sure. We're finally in a position of strength, not weakness. And Putin made this stunning admission during that same presser on Friday. Listen to what he said.
I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it would come to hostilities. And I said it quite directly back then that it's a big mistake. Today, when President Trump is saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that. I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good, business-like and trustworthy contact. And I have every reason to believe that moving down this path, we can come, and the sooner the better, to the end of the conflict in Ukraine.
Yeah. No more speculation. None. Trump was right. There would have been no war under President Trump's leadership, officially confirmed by Vladimir Putin himself. Now, the question is just, when will it end? I mean, all wars end at some point. Secretary Rubio says the road ahead involves compromise. And that's the only way to get there. Here he is.
In terms of like what Zelensky's going to agree to, that's up to them to decide. They're going to have to decide what they're willing to give and ultimately what they're going to get, what they're going to demand as well. Both sides are going to, but here's what I can tell you for certain. You can't have a peace deal between two warring factions unless both sides agreed to give up something and both sides agree that the other side gets something. Right? Otherwise, if one side gets everything they want, that's not a peace deal. It's called surrender. And I don't think this is a war that's going to end anytime soon on the basis of surrender. So this is tough stuff. I mean, it's difficult to bring these two sides together. We made some progress, we believe, and now we'll have to follow up on that progress. And ultimately, where this should lead is to a meeting between the three leaders, between Zelensky, Putin, and President Trump, where we could finalize it. But we got to get this thing closer before we get to that point.
We've got to get it closer. Closer. Donald Trump was doing that after the summit in Alaska. I'll talk about that coming up. Good to see you here today. Remember to follow us on all the social media platforms, Truth, Getter, X, Facebook, and live stream. The best live stream going? YouTube. Check that out. This program live on YouTube every day. I'll be right back. All right, so how did it play out? Well, Donald Trump got back on Air Force One, a 5-hour flight back to Joint Base Andrews and to the White House. He spent hours after leaving Alaska on the phone with NATO leaders, President Zelensky, to further the peace talks. That's how he spent the time. Our friend Jack Posobiec here on Real America's Voice was on Air Force One for the historic Alaska summit. He says Trump didn't take a break, not even for a second, on the ride back. Listen to this.
It is 3 a.m. Saturday morning, 22 hours after we first arrived here at the White House yesterday. See the West Wing there. President Trump did not stop working the entire time. 20-hour trip. Many people will say that's what they voted for. Starting to see early reports about discussions of an air ceasefire, possibly over the skies of Ukraine. So we're going to be tracking that, of course. Also, we're told that President Trump spent the entire flight back on the phone with NATO leaders, including an extensive phone call with Zelensky. So we will see how that goes. But to the people who say that this meeting was a failure, you just don't get it, and you probably never will.
Just don't get it and probably never will. Spot on there, Jack. Of course, the meeting between Trump and Putin has many loud critics, like he alluded to. It's your usual suspects calling this a meeting of failure. The left-wing TDS-riddled pundits and politicians who have lost their minds that Trump would dare meet with Putin. Of course, they lost their mind when he won the election again. Nicole Wallace over at MSNBC really took the cake with this delusional, and I mean delusional, rant. Take it away, Nicole.
This is a lot of stagecraft. My understanding, our reporting is that they timed their arrivals. There was a car there. We understand from our bureaus around the world for Putin. Trump put him in the Beast. There's a lot of touching. I don't know that we always see him touching Melania as much as he touched Putin today. The handshake and then the hand on top of the hand. I mean, everything that over 9 years we've learned about Trump. This is as fawning as he can be with any public figure he's ever photographed with.
Too much touching. Are you kidding me? Talk about grasping at straws. He put his hand on top of his hand. Trump always does that. It's a show of strength. He also clapped him on the shoulder. Another show of strength. I mean, seriously, grasping at straws, creating nothing out of thin air. Somebody really needs to check her meds. I'm serious now. I don't think she's well. Not well at all. You know, as you look at all of this, nobody cared when everybody else got together with Vladimir Putin. Now, did they? Nobody cared. These people had no problem when Putin met with Bill Clinton or his wife Hillary or went fishing with George Bush. No issues when Obama and Putin were pals or when Chuck Schumer split some donuts with the Russian president. Nobody cared about that. That was all good. But God forbid Donald Trump do his best to end a war that has cost billions of our own dollars and millions of needless lives. They want a diplomatic president, but when Trump extends some diplomacy, they lose their ever-loving, simple minds. Even Bill Maher says we need to remind ourselves of the facts when it comes to Donald Trump. Here he is.
The kind of person who says, you know, you can find some good in anybody. This would be the good in Donald Trump. He really does not like war. Thailand and Cambodia were having a firing at each other. Rwanda and the Congo. Most people don't even know about these. India and Pakistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan. He got involved in all of them. He really, he doesn't really, he wants to, now, but again, let's not have the zombie lie that he's still backing Putin because, first of all, he bombed Iran. That was a Putin ally. He didn't get out of NATO.
No.
He mended fences with NATO. So, and he put sanctions back on Russia. So, you know.
You're really coming around, Bill.
I'm not coming around. There's no coming around. There's just to what's true. This is true. Right. I don't come around. I'm not on anybody's team. I'm on the team. I'm on what's right, what's true, what happened. This is what happened. He just doesn't like war.
And at the end of the day, the time for peace is now. Bill Maher, he's going to get canceled for that, you know. Trump's put the pieces in place, and whether Zelensky steps up or walks away will shape history. This isn't about headlines or politics anymore. It's about ending a brutal war, saving lives, proving that strength can bring peace. No more excuses. If the path to peace is right in front of them and they still refuse to take it, then it never will come, and millions more will die. Let's be honest. It won't be Russia who surrenders. It won't be. And while we're speaking truth, I'm going to tell you something about weight loss this morning. Your metabolism isn't broken. It's misunderstood. 99.9% of you have never been shown what's actually in control of it. Listen, I'm a big fan of My Pure Health. And I'm going to give you an announcement here for My Pure Health. For the entire month of August, you can get 25% off their personalized weight loss program. Not shots every week. None of that nonsense. Let's face it, August is go time. The kids are going back to school. Summer's winding down. Life is getting back into a routine. It's the perfect time to finally take charge of your health. But listen, let me be real with you for a second. If you're playing some national weight loss company and they're giving you the same cookie cutter plan they hand out to everyone else and you're not losing weight, it's not because of you. It's because it wasn't made for you. It was just a one size fits all. My Pure Health Solutions is different. They build a plan around you, your body, your lifestyle, your goals. No gimmicks, no one size fits all. Right now through August, you can save 25%. Jumpstart your transformation. Go to gruberhealth.com. gruberhealth.com. My Pure Health Solutions can help you. gruberhealth.com. Get it done. Not the jabs in the leg. None of that nonsense, all right? Just health for you. I'll be right back. It's remarkable, the transformation in Washington, D.C., and I'm going to go there. I'm there next week, covering the White House for a few days. Looking forward to it, as I always do. Maybe I'll be in the Oval Office. Maybe I'll be back on Air Force One. Who knows? This president works 24 hours a day, it seems. Like you heard from Jack Posobiec, he was working all the way back from that get-together with Putin in Alaska. Worked his way all the way back, and he should. There's a war to be stopped and people's lives to be saved, but most presidents never worked that hard. Not in my lifetime. They worked hard, not that hard. It's remarkable, right? Trying to get that done. That's what we're trying to get figured out. Look, the cleanup in D.C. is going on. I'm going to look at it firsthand when I'm there. We're going to find out what the changes are. I'm told 75 homeless encampments were cleaned up, taken away, put in the dumpster. Then they were shuffled off. Not just to anywhere. They were offered a chance to go into places that they could stay and maybe get rehab. And if you refuse that, you'll end up in jail. And the people in D.C., the residents, I hear it time and time and time again on social media, they love it. The people complaining about it are people on MSNBC and CNN that don't live there. Yeah, people that do not live there. That's who I hear from. Let's see. Home title lock. Did you know that American homeowners nationwide have $32 trillion in equity? Cyber criminals target it. With a growing scam, the FBI calls house stealing. House alarms, doorbell cameras, they don't stop these folks. They're after your money. And if you think it can't happen, I'm sorry, you're mistaken. If your title isn't being monitored, scammers can transfer the title out of your name using a document or two down at the county, then take out loans against your equity or even sell your home. Yes, it happens. You don't have to believe me. Believe the folks at Home Title Lock. They've got triple lock protection. They give you monitoring, alerts of any changes, and God forbid if the worst happens, they'll spend $1 million to make things right. You can check on your home's title today and make sure you're not a victim already. Use the promo code Gruber at HometitleLock.com to make sure your title is still in your name. You'll also get a free title history report plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. All you have to do is go to HometitleLock.com, use the promo code Gruber, and get started. Have peace of mind. It's an awfully inexpensive way to make sure your house stays where it belongs. HometitleLock.com, promo code Gruber.
When a child is
So here we go down the road, and I have no idea where this leads because I never have any idea where this is going to lead because it just kind of, and it reminds me of this old, I think it was Saturday Night Live bit, Random Thoughts with Jack Handy. Random Thoughts with Tim Young. Tim runs his mouth. He's out there. He's got 1 million plus followers on X and people all. He's like the biggest deal ever. And he comes on here because sometimes he has to go slumming, I guess. Tim, welcome back to the program.
Well, what happens is you catch me when I'm still half asleep early in the morning,
And your producers blow me up, and I just click on the link, and then this happens.
Right, and then you get in there with your hat collection, your bourbon collection, your little bobblehead collection behind you there.
It's called hoarding. It's called hoarding.
Yeah, you've got, well, they have a TV show about that. In fact, you've got a bobblehead of yourself. I mean, talk about, self-absorbed. I love that.
Steve, this is I didn't make it. I didn't make it of myself. It's me and my old assistant. God bless her wherever she is.
All right.
That was so low. You start off, why do you hate me, Steve? Inside joke for anybody watching. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyhow, it's 56 minutes. I'll never get back. So anyhow, I want to talk about, I want to talk about D.C. for a second here, because here's the thing. I've got all these D.C. politicians, and you're there a lot because you do a bunch of work for the Heritage Foundation. I want to ask you about that in a minute. You're doing these documentaries and stuff with Kevin Roberts and the folks there, who we have people on the Heritage Foundation just about daily. We love them to death. Anyhow. Yep. But you're in D.C. a lot these days, right? And I go to D.C. quite a bit. I go to the White House and do different things. And I like D.C. I do. The restaurants are great. The museums are cool. But let's be honest, man. I look over my shoulder, and you must too. And so you've got all these politicians screaming that Trump's cleaning up D.C. That's a terrible thing. I can't believe he's such a dictator, right? Because who's complaining about having more police in their neighborhood so that you don't have carjackings and murders and rapes and assaults? It's crazy to me how berserk the left goes. And then I see these reporters like Kira Phillips, used to be on CNN. She's on the ABC affiliate now in D.C., coming out and go, I got jumped just 2 blocks from the station. You just did this a couple of days ago. One of our people on staff here had her car stolen today. Just a couple of days ago, people were shot down the street and they died. So people in D.C. know, and it's weird to me that they would say, oh, everything's fine here. Don't worry about us. We don't want your help. But they do. They really do, don't they?
Yeah, have we heard from Congressman Cuellar yet, who was he was the Democrat from Texas who was robbed at gunpoint as well? He was carjacked, I think, about like 6 or 7 months ago.
Yeah, just recently.
Yeah, he hasn't said anything either. It's interesting how suddenly anything that Trump wants to do, if Trump cured cancer, Democrats would be pro-cancer.
Well, what they would say is, Trump cured cancer today, thousands of oncologists out of work. That would be the headline.
Look at when he had Project Warp Speed, which I totally disagreed with, when they had a vaccine early on.
Sure.
Kamala and the leadership of the Democrat Party were like, we're not taking it. Trump got it made. Turns out they probably shouldn't have. But hey, look, this is one of those things. Democrats are just so anti-Trump. They hate Trump so much that they hate literally anything that benefits Americans in a good way. Let's forget the vaccine argument that I just made. But anything else, they hate in a major way. And me, look, I was robbed at gunpoint 4 blocks from Precinct 1, which is the homicide division of the D.C. Police Department, right on a main drag at like 7 o'clock at night. One night I was walking to coffee. I was supposed to go on a first date that night. Really funny. She didn't believe the excuse. I said that I got robbed at gunpoint, and then there was a story the next day, and I sent it to her, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And then we never talked again. But this is a common occurrence in DC. It's not just in like the ghetto or the bad areas. This is everywhere. Criminals go and pick off people in good areas. This is right by like the waterfront there. All of their like billions of dollars of expansion and tourism, everything right there is where I was robbed at gunpoint. Right. And so this is just a regular thing. Everyone knows how much of a crap hole and how violent DC is. And the fact that Democrats would dare to stop Trump from cleaning up this place, that, by the way, this crime disproportionately affects African Americans. I know they like to say, the talking point is like, oh, they lock up more black people, but black people are more affected by this crime than anyone else.
Yeah, you go to the 8th Ward. That's one of the areas of just heavily bad crime, right? And so you got Big Balls got his head kicked in. I don't know about the rest of him. You got these 2 Jewish folks who are about to get married, gunned down because apparently they were Jewish. I saw this Uber driver, an older, I think he was like from in the Middle East somewhere. He was an Uber driver, just murdered by teenagers. And I heard this crazy thing. Maybe you can help me with this. That if you're under 25 in D.C., they consider you a minor. If you're under 25, is that true?
Illiteracy is illiteracy. I guess if you take a look at what you can pass in the school system, the standardized tests, nobody's above 25. But that's a real problem there too. But no, they let everyone just off with no bail. no bail bonds, and just instant probation for a lot of stuff. It's a revolving door. They let people out. I believe that accident. I remember seeing images of that accident where it wasn't an accident; it was a carjacking where they murdered that poor old man. That was right in front of the National Stadium, if I recall. And so, like, this stuff, you want to think that the crime is isolated. It's right there in major areas. Again, like, I was robbed at gunpoint 4 blocks from their like main precinct in DC, right next to the waterfront, where it's a multi-billion-dollar expansion for tourism there.
Right.
This is in major areas. This is not something that is like isolated. It's not Trump like, nitpicking. Also, yesterday there was a clip from CNN where the CNN guy was like, hey, there aren't homeless people out here in front of Union Station anymore.
Yeah, I saw that one. He goes, the loiterers. Yeah, the loiterers aren't here anymore. So here's the thing. If you get rid of the loiterers, you get rid of the drug dealing. If you get rid of the drug dealing, you get rid of the criminal activity. You get rid of the urinating and defecating and all the other fun things that go along with that. Oh, and by the way, I really like the videos of the bobcats coming in and scooping up the tents and putting them in the dumpster over there and actually cleaning up the city. God bless America. Who would be against this? And look, you can go to third world countries whose capitals are far safer and far better because they do one thing in those countries. They lock down the capital. And look, I don't care who you are. The one job of government, the one job at the local level, the state level, the federal level, keep the people safe. That's your damn job. That's it.
For years, I walked through Union Station going to Capitol Hill, and every time I go through, I usually, when I go up and down the East Coast, I like taking the train because I'm an old school guy. I'm an old Joe Biden train riding guy. And it is, I won't even know how to handle Union Station without being asked for money 4 or 5 times, without having to keep my head on a swivel walking through there because the military is there protecting it. It's such a relief, and it's so strange. It's sort of like, boy, am I going to get myself in trouble here. It's sort of like when you call customer service and it's an English-speaking person who can solve your problem within like 2 minutes. It's the same thing. It's something that we should be accustomed to, but is now very, very rare, few and far between. Being able to casually walk out of Union Station and enjoy my day without being harassed by homeless people or druggies or whatever else is such a relief for me. Sort of like that customer service thing. This should be commonplace in America, and we have totally forgotten it because it's been so long since DC has been safe.
Absolutely true. That's why I use Patriot Mobile, 100% U.S. customer. Never mind, I just throw that out there.
They're down the street from me.
Patriot Mobile, 100%.
Down the street. They are based down the street from me in Grapevine, 3/4 of a mile from where I live. Now I can
love
install
them. I love them. You can get a free month of service right now with the promo code Gruber. That's patriotmobile.com, by the way. I want to ask you about something else here. We're going to take a quick break. I am with Tim Runs His Mouth. He's doing a bunch for the Heritage Foundation. You can find him on X. He's live all the time, randomly, but he's live all the time. We'll take a quick break. This is The Steve Gruber Show. Are you ready? All right, back to it now with Tim Young. Tim Young, he runs his mouth, probably for a long time. You know, my mother used to tell me, Steve, your mouth is going to get you in big trouble. Boy, was she right. She didn't realize it would lead us here, but here we are. I want to ask you about, you're talking about CNN just before we went to the break there. There is one guy that gives me great joy over there who I've met a couple of times, and he's just as pleasant in person, and that is Scott Jennings, right? And he just fillets them every day. He just destroys them every day, and it's like they sit there and they just keep trying to regurgitate their talking points, and he's just like, he just laughs at them. I enjoy watching him sometimes.
Imagine being the person who hired him originally, who probably hired him to get beat up all the time. They thought he was going to get beat up. Then the first time that he filleted everybody over there at CNN, the clip went viral. Yeah. He's the only thing that people were watching on CNN, and God bless him for it. Yep. Literally. And they have to realize, you would think they would change their programming. You'd think they'd hire someone or more someone's like him. They've tried to. Nobody kind of measures up to what he does because he's just quick and he's a little bit funny. But like they realize all of their clicks, all of their views are coming from conservatives now. And I can only imagine what their leftist overlords who send them their talking points think, seeing that that's the case.
Yeah, it's here, and what's her name? The fitness guru that's on there now. She's what the heck's her name?
Yeah, I don't know CNN names.
See, you don't watch it much. I don't watch it much either.
Why would I voluntarily watch? You know, I said this to somebody once, Gruber. This is applies to us here. You know, somebody wanted to do stand up. One of my neighbors, and they said, "Hey, you want to come see me do an open mic?" And I go, "No." And they were like, "Why?" And I go, "Well, when the garbage man has a day off, he doesn't sit on his stoop and watch other garbage men pick up the trash."
That's right.
And so, like,
Jillian Michaels, by the way, Jillian Michaels is on there.
Oh, she's nice,
and she's quite conservative. Anyhow, go on.
But I don't enjoy watching commentary shows on television other than Steve Gruber and me. I don't sit around and watch other people's stuff. That's why we have producers. God bless every one of your producers and bookers of shows that watch the clips for us and hand them to us. And not to like pull back the curtain here, but I can't stand watching programs that I'm not on.
Well, you know, look, I don't watch listen. People say, "What other shows do you listen to? Who else do you?" I actually don't. You and I mean, we talk, and there's a couple other podcasts that I do. We talk about different things. But do I actively go pursue and listen to anything? No, I'll listen to breaking news, like if Trump does something that's in the Oval Office and it's going to impact me, or something's happening with D.C., I'll watch that. But as far as listening to other people's opinions, I don't really care that much about other people's opinions.
So I'm not going to name names or anything like this, but like, you know, Fox and a few of these other networks are out picking up these big podcasts or whatever they are.
Sure. Ruthless or whatever. Yeah, that's one they picked up.
I don't know. But I ask people, like, you know, have you ever seen an episode? And they're like, no.
Mm-mm.
And so, like, what is happening here? Like, what is actually going on? Like, I know that people, honest to God, I know people, this is me, part of this commentary. I think more people watch Real America's Voice than a lot of these major networks now. And it's pretty obvious because I hear about it from people. People talk about things that are on the Gruber Show. People talk about things that Bannon talked about on War Room. People are watching this more than they are major networks. And that's where the shift has been. I don't think they're going and digging up podcasts like they used to either.
I don't either. You know, and you can give a couple of, some people do really well. You're talking about people that are switching. I think Megyn Kelly's done a remarkable, she has 6 producers, by the way. I heard her say that. I think 6. That's showing off a little bit, isn't it? 6. You know. Anyhow.
Her team, when she comes into places, her team, I think she's got like 15 people that work with her, and God bless her. I mean, I think she's one of the highest paid people at Sirius. God bless her.
Yeah, and she should be. I mean, she's out there just kicking it in the teeth every day. And that's people like you and her. And I go to John Solomon all the time to get actual news because he's breaking stuff every day. And he's breaking big stuff every day about, okay, here's the crimes and the grand conspiracy, and here's the email to go with it, and here's the information to go. You're not going to get that from NBC. You're not going to get that from CNN, Chicken Noodle News. You're not. That's why people are coming to places like this and listening to you and listening to me because, look, the credibility is gone. By the time we got through COVID, did they have any credibility left?
Yeah, no. And by the way, people tune into my show to see how bad my attitude's going to be that night. You never know. It could be, I could be sad. I could be angry. I could be angrier. We don't know. You know, it's a crapshoot.
How many people watch your show or listen to your show or consume your show? I mean, I think that's the term these days, consume.
average is about 100,000 now, and that's only on just X. I haven't really expanded to other platforms, which I've been yelled at by many people to do. When I do my specials, by the way, when I do my What's in Your Office, we get about 600,000 views. So like it's moving.
What's in your office? Interesting. I don't think I've seen that. See, I need to get
Well,
out more.
you should watch the product, buddy.
All right, so let me ask you about the Heritage Foundation. Incredibly important. By the Dawn's Early Light, I think it was the name of Kevin Roberts' book that I read here a year ago. Great book, by the way. I really like Kevin Roberts. He basically is a Cajun version of J.D. Vance. They're very similar in upbringing, very difficult upbringings. Of course, he had something worse happen in his life, did Kevin Roberts, when his brother committed suicide. Different things, but the point is that they have this understanding of America that I don't think most people have anymore. I think it's an honor for you to work there. I think it's cool just to know you because you're there, because it's so important to me to know that there's people out there that really get it. And that's super important.
You know, I don't think I'd be at the Heritage Foundation under any other leader than Kevin Roberts, to be honest with you, because I think the guy gets it at a level, like you said, that people
just gets it.
He just gets it. He understands America, and I'm working with him now, and have an Emmy award winning team. Not that matters in conservative world, but in liberal world, people go whoa. An Emmy award winning team that I'm working with to produce his upcoming mini documentaries about America and where we see things going, and it's going to be an incredible project. It's an honor to work on it. It's wild. You can add in my Chiron documentarian now. It's really cool to be able to. We're going to be traveling the country with him and documenting a lot of cool stuff. He's actually a really great interviewer too. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
He can have a real conversation with people. And so we're talking to some incredible people with him, and we're going to bring to light a lot of great things in America and America's 250th anniversary.
Tim, always appreciate you being here, my friend. Cheers.
Thanks for having me.
Always. We'll take a break. At Tim Runs His Mouth, you can find him on X, 1.1 million and growing. I'll be right back. It's the Steve Gruber Show. All right, so closing into the back half of August, Hurricane Aaron was a Category 5 hurricane briefly, right? It's pounded on the British Virgin Islands, American Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico. Gave San Juan a pretty good blast at will here over the next few hours. But then it looks like it doesn't do much from there. It turns out, peels off the coast, doesn't make it all the way in, which is good news. So by week's end, it'll be up, toward Canada and heading back out into the open ocean. The real problem, from what I understand here, is that the next hurricane, the next storm, behind it could be the one that Aaron has paved the way for. We'll see. Hurricanes. And I'm just looking at the latest updates here. It'll create dangerous surf along the coast, riptides and so forth. Let's see here. We got a little update that just came in minutes ago. Stronger and bigger Hurricane Aaron pelted parts of the Caribbean and was forecast to create dangerous surf and rip currents along the U.S. East Coast this week. It's a Category 4 again, went from a 3 to a 4. 130-mile-an-hour winds, so just barely a 4, but a 4. Look, it's a big storm. All right, that's a fact. It is a big storm, and it is churning away. The Wellness Company is a place to keep your health in good standing. Don't lose your health because it's hard to get back. This parasite cleanse, I'm telling you, this is something that Ivy and I did. Ivermectin and mebendazole. Takes 21 days. 60 million Americans today have parasites. Maybe you're one of them. You don't have to. It can really drain your focus, make you hazy, make you tired all the time. Don't do that. The gold standard for a parasite cleanse comes from the Wellness Company, along with a lot of other great products, but ivermectin and mebendazole. And if you go there, twc.health/Gruber, you go there today, you'll save $60 off this treatment and get free shipping. I did it. You should do it too. Get rid of this parasite, scary little monsters inside your body. twc.health/Gruber for the gold standard parasite cleanse. $60 off today, free shipping. A lot of other great products at the Wellness Company as well. We'll continue with another big hour at the top.
I'm Shanola Ham.
Always something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
It sure is. Glad to have you on board the Truth Train as we roll out of the station and on down the tracks. Live in all 50 states and around the world, this is the Steve Gruber Show, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom. Who do you want in your foxhole? Great question. It's a dirty job. Mike Rowe ain't here, so I'm going to talk about him this hour, by the way. Here are 3 big things you need to know. Number 1, an invasive species that's doing tremendous damage to trees and more can be sniffed out by dogs. It's called the lanternfly. Anthony hates them, apparently. Number 2, all eyes on the White House today. Ukraine's President Zelensky will be arriving to discuss possible ways to end the war. No telling if that could happen. And number 3, like I said, Zelensky will be arriving here. He'll be arriving in a cleaner, safer Washington when he gets there. I'll be there next week. I'll give you an update from the streets of the nation's capital. Give you an update on the state of crime and homelessness. Apparently there were 75 homeless encampments. They got picked up and put into the dumpsters. I mean, you've probably seen the videos. They're pretty much everywhere. For those that live there, they're all behind it. They're cheerleading the effort to clean the place up. All these parks and places had been filled up with junkies and homeless tents and garbage and filth. It's gone. It's gone. Oh, and the crime? It's gone too, despite white liberals screaming that it's attacking people of color. People that live there don't buy that. Okay, so we had a little language concern on this one. But here is a D.C. resident loving President Trump for cleaning up D.C. Let it rip.
What do you know? Trump has the Make D.C. Beautiful Again executive order, which removes about 70 to 75 homeless encampments off the street. Now, he's not just removing the homeless people off the street. He's getting them substance abuse care. You can go to rehab, We're not just going to put you in a home, though. We're going to get you the help that you need, right? That's a fair deal. Now, if you don't oblige, possible jail time. We're not just going to put you up in housing so you can still be snorting coke and doing fentanyl, And what do you know? The in-the-way-ass liberals are recording the city workers removing the tents off the street. What the homeless people going to do now? They're being removed. Oh, my God. Well, what'd you do for the past 4 years? You wasn't offering them ramen. You wasn't giving them no caress soap to wipe their ass. I can tell you, liberals love chaos and dirt. They love it. You want the homeless to be on the street so we can smell human feces and piss all god day, huh? Because you're dirty ass. You guys ever seen the trend why conservative women look so good? Because we clean our ass. Unlike a god bro, we can smell you from a mile away, bitch. Get your ass out the way.
So, Anthony puts the sound together for the program. Usually, oftentimes, the night before the show, and sometimes if I have a late ad, he'll grab something here. Yeah, that was a bit of a challenge. Bleep, bleep, bleep. She's hilarious. I wish I didn't have to bleep her out because she was on it. She was on it.
I sent you a text. I had to bleep myself while I was making it.
Yeah, what another one? Deet, 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 deet. Sounded like Morse code trying to put that on the air. Anyhow, she's right, though. What are you people doing? Shut up. Here's another one, by the way. Another D.C. resident with a clean mouth, so he didn't have to get any special attention from Anthony, praising President Trump's cleanup. Listen.
Man, down the city is quiet as a church mouse, young. I came all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue this morning. So peaceful, young. I don't smell no weed, young. I don't see no homeless people. I mean, I came all the way through the southeast side, all the way down here. You can see now I'm at the White House, jump, man. It's quiet, young. It's a shame that it takes somebody to have to sit in your classroom in order for you to be in order, young. Because that's what it feels like, young. You got to be babysitter to do your job, young. Stuff been out of control for years. You got to do better, young.
Got to do better. He went on, he was a career guy at UPS, he said in that video. And he says, the best he's ever seen the city look. Let me tell you something. You know, Gavin Newsom's out there. We're not going to allow them to clean up our cities in California. We'll let them be cesspools. I demand it. We demand cesspools. Okay, Gavin, look. Here's what's going to happen. Let me give you a little prediction here. People are going to see what's happened in D.C. I'll be reporting on it directly for you next week. I'll give you some videos and some places that got cleaned up, all right? I'll do that for you. What's going to happen? Baltimore's going to look at that and go, hey, we like what they did in D.C. Can you do that here? And Philadelphia's going to look and say, hey, they clean up Baltimore and D.C. Can you do that here? And so on and so forth. The idea that homelessness and filth and drug addiction and feces on the sidewalk is somehow okay, it's not. People don't want to live that way. You've got a fringe element of homeless junkies and so forth and mental health issues. Well, get the mental health victims the help they need. Do what you can for the addicts, but don't play that game too long. And for the ones that don't want to participate, throw them in jail. Be done with it. Clean up our cities. Make America great again means clean up our cities. How bad, by the way, is it for Democrats right now on a national level? Well, on CNN, they explained it. It's worse than you can imagine for the Democrats right now. And part of it's this sort of thing. Well, Donald Trump's a tyrant. He's a dictator. He's taking over Washington, D.C. He's cleaning the dump. He's draining the cesspool of homeless encampments in the city parks, and giving the junkies a place to go to get cleaned up. Give me a break. Listen to this. This is how bad it is for Democrats. Listen.
Democrats at this point are historically divided. It is a complete and utter mess. It is messier than a hoarder's basement. What are we talking about here? The national early poll leader, 25% plus. Normally, that's where Democrats are. Biden was at 25% plus in 2020. Hillary Clinton was in 08 and 16. Gore was in 00 and 04. At this particular point, there is no one in the Democratic race for president who's polling at 25% plus. The water is quite warm. If you're a Democrat potentially thinking about running in 2028, jump right in, because at this point, there is no front runner.
What do you think? Is that because how people view the Democratic Party right now, is that contributing to this?
Yeah, I think that is in large part of what's going on, is one of the reasons why there is no front runner. Nobody wants to put anybody up at the top of their ballot list, is because at this particular point, the Democratic brand is in the basement. It is total and complete garbage in the mind of the American public. The Democratic Party's net favorable rating, record lows in all three. Wall Street Journal, 30 points underwater. CNN, 26 points underwater. Gallup, 26 points underwater. And that is being driven in large part by discontent within the Democratic base. The Democratic base wants something different. We'll ultimately end up seeing who they choose. It'll be quite the thing who ultimately gets the rose.
Yes,
who
sir.
gets the rose? Don't know. It's a mess out there, but not so much in Washington, D.C., because that's being cleaned up thanks to President Donald Trump. Don't have to like him. In fact, you can hate him, but you'll like Washington, D.C. a lot more when it's clean. That I can assure you. Back in a moment on the Steve Gruber Show. If I was working for my next guest, we could call this AI Monday. You know, that's what he did. A couple of years ago, he had a complete change of heart, if you will. He got rid of 80% of the people in his company, restocked, reformulated, rethought the whole thing. Because he said that AI was going to bring existential transformation, and boy, was he right. We're going to be talking about that in detail for the next while here. This is the most important conversation you're going to hear for a while. AI is great for some things. Oh, yeah, you go in, get your letter written and post your job and do some other things. But AI is also going to gobble up big sections of jobs. I mean, who needs somebody to design a car? AI will do that. Design a building. AI will do that. Build in the tolerances, the setbacks, the ordinances, all of it. Anyhow, we're going to get to all of this. Let's bring in Mark Beckman, author of Some Future Day, How AI is Going to Change Everything. Mark, good to have you here. Let's talk about...
Steve, it's great to see you.
Yeah, let's talk about Eric Vaughn. You wrote this about Eric Vaughn, AI Mondays. I said it was you. I misspoke, but...
That's okay.
He changed everything. And this is so important because AI is changing everything. You use it every day. I use it. I go on, I'll ask Grok, hey, Grok, can you give me a historical reference on whatever? Or I'll go to ChatGPT and say, hey, can you tell me what this stock has done historically? Where is it? I do this all the time now. I do. But it's going to change everything, isn't it?
Steve, artificial intelligence is already fundamentally changing everything. It's the underpinning of every business sector, from the creative to government, defense, all the way through education and entertainment. We're going to see the biggest growth coming through artificial intelligence coupled with crypto, in my opinion, during this Trump administration, percentage-wise. There's no doubt about it. And what this CEO is doing is, frankly, what every CEO should be doing. He's giving his employees the tools to unlock growth, American ingenuity, and to capture what every CEO loves, bigger profit margins. It allows for them to be more innovative, to create new ideas, new products, and beyond. But at the end of the day, they're going to drop a bigger profit margin down to their bottom line, Steve, and it's critical.
So he said that Eric Vaughn is his name, CEO of enterprise software powerhouse Ignite Tech is the man you wrote about in this article. He changed everything. He got rid of 80% of his people. Now, what does Ignite Tech do? What was he able to accomplish? Because he says he would do it all again. He began on this quest, if you will, 2 years ago. What did they do? What did he change? Where are we now?
Well, here's what he's doing, and frankly, the United States government is starting to do this as well. What they're looking to do in this first phase is to create efficiencies within the organization as it relates to tasks, fulfilling day-to-day tasks. So it frees up the individuals within the organization to provide more value to the corporation. Now, the United States is about to institute this too through its strategic alliance with OpenAI. They're allowing for all government employees now to have access for virtually no money to their platform, OpenAI and ChatGPT, which you know is Sam Altman's vertical. What they're looking here, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I said I understand. Sam Altman, yes, sir, go ahead.
Yep. So what they're looking to do, Steve, is create efficiencies with these monotonous day-to-day tasks. What happened in this case is a lot of employees fear that artificial intelligence is going to replace them. And I think you and I have discussed this before. It's definitely going to wipe out entire areas of business, blue collar and white collar jobs. There's no doubt about it. I write about it extensively in my book. But what they're doing in this first phase is creating efficiencies with day-to-day tasks. That's what the CEO did, and that is what the United States government is starting to implement now as well.
So, I mean, there's things that come to mind when you say that. I've had an accountant for 25 years. Why would I need an accountant anymore? If I've got an AI program, and luckily he's retiring. He made a career, he's out. But if you've got programs that can evaluate and crunch the numbers in a complete way for me. I just push in the information. Here it is. Here's what we earned. Here's what we sold. Here's what we lost. Here's a deadbeat who didn't pay this. Whatever it is, there it all is. I don't need an accountant. I need a good AI program to figure out my best deductions, my lowest tax, the most efficient thing, and maybe even have a box, low, moderate, or high risk on this particular write-off. Your exposure is this. You might get this. But then the IRS is going to have AI on its side, picking you apart too, right? I mean, who needs an accountant? I mean, that's really the AI reality today, isn't it?
Steve, you're hovering right at the sweet spot of where white-collar jobs are going to get hit. Accounting, think about it. The essence of artificial intelligence, as we understand, is math. Right. So you're hitting right there. Now, it's interesting. I go through this process of machine versus man, and I believe that man, at the end of the day, rises to the top. I think creative and legal accounting will be beneficial to major corporations. Perhaps the machine won't be able to do that. I love the levers that you put out as it relates to risk, from low risk to high risk. I think that's very interesting, actually. The other thing that you touched on, which is really interesting for artificial intelligence right now, is the idea of AI detecting AI. So we're actually standing up.
AI VAI. You've got the taxpayer and you've got the IRS, and they both got AI on their side. It's like clash of the AI titans, right? Now hold that thought. Hold that thought. We're going to come back with that. Interesting. Like I said, this is the most important conversation you're going to hear today. Mark Beckman with me, author of Some Future Day, How AI is Going to Change Everything. I had a friend of mine, Mark, tell me 5 years ago, the world's going to change more in the next 10 years than it has in 10,000. Boy, was he on it. He wasn't the only one, but he was on it. We'll take a break and be right back. It's the Steve Gruber Show. Mark Beckman will continue with us because we're just getting started on this topic for today. I'll be right back. All right, back with Mark Beckman. We're gonna hang on to Mark for a bit here because we have the chance to do this, and there's a lot to explore here. We're gonna have some comments from Mike Rowe coming up here in a few minutes, but let's continue with this thought. We have just a short segment here, but AI versus AI. You've got the taxpayer on one side, you've got the IRS on the other side, and you can run the scenario 100,000 different ways, but that's a pretty easy one for people to understand, look at it, go, okay, so I took AI and I sent in my tax return, and the IRS said it wasn't right because their AI said my AI was wrong. I mean, that's what it's setting up for, isn't it?
It's remarkable, but there are universities. Our organization, my company, DMA United, we're already working with different organizations, both in academia as well as in the commercial world, where we're building AI platforms literally to detect even if AI is being used. So, for example, you might recall a few months ago, we spoke about new legislation, the Take It Down Act, which restricts the use of non-consensual intimate imagery. Well, now the onus is on all of these social media platforms, from Meta to TikTok to Snap and beyond, to immediately take down those non-consensual intimate images if they're declared to be there, and they're penalized if they don't take them down in time. So you know what they're going to use, Steve? AI to detect if those NCIIs are up.
So you basically, what we have here are virtual AI cops going after and sniffing out AI crime. So you've got AI detectives and AI algorithms and AI, programmed, I would hope, to follow the law. But the other part of that is AI is watching you and I every moment of every day. It's on my phone. It's on my computer. It's probably on this camera that's in my studio. It's on all of these things, I would guess.
It definitely is. And I have to tell you, one of the biggest concerns, my concern, is privacy. China right now is leading the way as it relates to facial recognition and facial recognition software.
We're toast on that. We're going to pick up the conversation with that in a couple of minutes here. We're going to continue with Mark because he's exactly right. Some future day, how AI is going to change everything. Did you write it or is it AI? I'm joking.
All AI. I didn't write that book. It's all AI.
Mark, sit tight. We'll be right back on the Steve Gruber Show. Support for today's program comes from PuroClean's Veterans Initiative, PuroVet. It's investing in our nation's heroes by helping them own and operate thriving local businesses. You can find out more. If you're a veteran or you know somebody who would like to have a business of their own, cleaning up the mess of the world, well, 855-PuroVet, purovet.com online. Check it out. Great people to do work with and their companies. PuroClean. Absolutely terrific. All right. Back with Mark Beckman now. He wrote the book Some Future Day, How AI is Going to Change Everything and Change Everything It Has, and it is. All right, so the AI versus AI, that part's happening. But privacy, you're exactly right, privacy. China's leading the way on this. They know what I look like. They know what you look like. Look, they've got access. Let's be clear. We were willing to put everything out there for Mark Zuckerberg. We put everything out there. Who we like, what we eat, what restaurants we go to, how many drinks we had last, whatever it is. It's all out there. So there's a file that's been built and probably perfected by AI. And anybody in the modern world, I mean, if you're in a third world country, maybe not, but anybody in the modern world, you exist in digital space, right?
Steve, the #1 domestic facial recognition software uses exactly what you said. It uses our Facebook accounts, our Instagram accounts. It even goes as far as using our payment systems. Think in terms of like Venmo.
Right.
And what they're doing now is this technology is so far advanced, they could pick out your shoulder, a jacket that you might regularly wear. It's not just about the structure of your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your chin, your cheeks. It's literally about the rest of your body too. And American entities, it's my understanding, according to the chief information officer of New York City Police, of the New York City government, American entities are already starting to use facial recognition software. So, for example, the Miami Police Department is using it in limited situations, and I believe that they're using it here in New York City too.
So it's just like that scene out of Minority Report. What was that, 20 years ago? Tom Cruise comes running into the department store. Would you like that pair of pants you bought last time, Mr. whatever his name was in the movie, right? I mean, that's just like that. They see you come in. Oh, Mr. Gruber, do you want that pair of pants? We've got a shirt on sale just like the one you bought a month ago. Would you like one of those? That sort of thing. Of course, it won't be in a mall because the malls won't exist by then. You'll just get on your computer and say, Mr. Gruber, we've got a sale on that stuff you like. It is remarkable. Look, 10 years ago, Ivy and I had an argument with a guy about having groceries delivered. Well, nobody will ever do that. They want to go to the store and see their fruit. Nobody goes to the store anymore. We don't. It's dropped on my front porch. You know,
not at all. And this is where robotics come in, Steve, right? All of this is fueled. If you think about it, robotics are just artificial intelligence. They're just computers that can move, whether it's in the air with drones or humanoids on the ground. Moving into military, we're going to see warfare with regards to AI, autonomous vehicles as jet fighters, on the sea with regards to autonomous vehicles that are boats. These are all AI. They're all computers that are running and changing the way the world is going to function from peaceful times to war times.
Right. So the concern there, obviously, you have weaponized machines that have no... They have no way to, you can't negotiate with a machine. Machine said, if it's going to kill you, it's going to get, here comes a drone, it's coming over, identifies you, boom, facial recognition, boom, dead. Boom, you're done. And no way to mitigate that if it's been programmed that way. You know, okay, so we've got that side of it. What about the other side? And I'm going to go to Optimus, which is Elon's robot. Look, I could use one of these. It could vacuum the house. It could let the dogs out. It can clean the cat litter, whatever, right? It maybe mow the lawn. Of course, they'll probably have completely automated lawn mowing systems by then that'll just go out automatically, like the vacuums that go around your house automatically and clean stuff up.
Yes.
But these are good things. It frees up your time to do other more productive things. Maybe if you got anything left to do after AI gets done cleaning up your life, right?
For sure. I think the robotics are going to come into play sooner than society at large expects. I'm watching from my side pricing going down. So when you talk about Elon and Optimus, he's pushing pricing down for these humanoid robots. I understand now down to like $5,000 a unit. So previously, when I wrote my book, I expected for families within neighborhoods to share a robot to run all of those monotonous tasks that you and I hate, from grocery shopping to doing laundry to folding laundry and beyond. But now you'll have your own robot, and that robot will serve not just for monotonous tasks, but also to educate the next generation. Think in terms of a mentor that could custom create, a tutor rather, that could custom create a learning curve for your children and play into their strengths and weaknesses accordingly, that robot will become part of your family. I know I'm sounding very Jetsons right now, but it's not far off. I'm in the venture capital world, and I see a lot of money flowing deep into robotics now.
All right, so I just did a quick search here. Bring the wow factor to your corporate events with robotic bartenders. Oh, I so your bartender's a robot now. What was that movie where they're on a long journey space trip and the guy woke up early? Anyhow, not that long, whatever the name of that movie was.
We need it.
Yeah, and the bartender was there and he looked real until you turn around and you see that he's all circuit boards, but here he looks real. And I see these other companies, look, they're making, we're just going to go into the darkness here. They're making intimacy robots, right? And so at what point do you not need a human companion if you've got a robot? Oh, this is what I check this box and I want this eye color and this hair color and this. What? Honestly.
Steve, man will always prevail. Man will always prevail.
You say that. You say man's going to win over machine, but I wonder because you fall in love with a computer? There was a movie about that too, wasn't there? Go ahead.
Steve, I talk about this issue in the book. There are people, octogenarians, for example, Suzanne Summers' husband, Alan Hamill. He's a close friend of mine. He wants to bring Suzanne back in the form of an artificial intelligence, in the form of a robot, because he longs for her. People that lose a loved one and long for companionship will have the ability to interact with some part of this individual, their voice, the way they look, and even what they've recorded, if it's all down in video or in book, the way it is with Suzanne. But people are going to long for it. So yes, for the next generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, it's a little weird, granted. It's way too much digital. But for the octogenarians who become lonely and their friends start to pass away, their loved ones, their families start to pass away, this could solve an issue of companionship, which is needed.
Well, there's truth to that, but when it comes to to a distraction from reproduction, that's where I'm going with that. There's a lot of strange things on the internet, Mark. I'll just say that. A lot of odd things that really? This is a thing, apparently. Intimacy robots, right?
For sure. I read actually a story recently about a gentleman, a young man who left his physical fiance to go with his AI girlfriend.
Right.
So
exactly.
It's real. People are going to blend things. With the advent of spatial computing and VR, that whole world is going to pop up too.
All right. So I got one more thing I want to talk to you about, and we're going to hear from Mike Rowe after the break here. Mark, appreciate you staying through. Mark Beckman. Again, the book, Some Future Day, How AI is Going to Change Everything. As you've already heard, it's pretty much changed everything already, whether you realize it. I have a magic ring now that tells me what my heartbeat is and how I sleep and everything. It's everywhere. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so we've talked about some different things here about how it's going to impact the workforce and who's in the workforce or where they plug into the workforce and what they do with their lives, entrepreneur opportunities. But I want you to hear from Mike Rowe here. Mike Rowe has some pretty good advice for young people about where you might want to spend your time learning, because there are certain jobs that aren't going to be done by AI. They're not putting a new roof on your house, I'll tell you that. Listen.
We've been telling kids for 15 years to code. Learn to code, we said. Yeah, well, AI is coming for the coders. They're not coming for the welders. They're not coming for the plumbers. They're not coming for the steam fitters or the pipe fitters or the HVAC. They're not coming for the electricians. You know, that Ideas Festival I was telling you about in Aspen, I sat there and listened to Larry Fink say we need 500,000 electricians in the next couple of years. Not hyperbole. This is me being the alarmist again. There's not a week that goes by in my humble little foundation. It's called MicroWorks, shameless plug. We award work ethic scholarships every year, right, to kids who want to learn a skill that's in demand. These are trade school scholarships. Not a week goes by where I don't.
Yeah, not a week goes by. All right, so there, look. Electricians, HVAC people, carpenters, AI's not doing that. I mean, AI can build stuff in a factory, but here at my house or the studio or whatever, not doing that, Mark. So there are real opportunities. And we are 500,000 electricians short, because we didn't say tell every kid go to college, tell every kid go to college. Well, boy, did we screw up. A lot of opportunities because of all this. Your thoughts?
I completely agree. But as it relates to electricians, it's really interesting, Steve. You and I have been talking about two legs of the three-legged stool for artificial intelligence. We've been talking about software. We've been talking about hardware. Let's move to the third, arguably the most critical component. Energy to go ahead and fuel these hyperscale data centers. It's going to be required in a massive way. And what President Trump is doing is attracting tons and tons of investment. You saw Stargate with Sam Altman and Larry Ellison. They put Masa-san, they put $500 billion into building these hyperscale data centers in the United States that are going to drive artificial intelligence. What does it need to run? Tons of power. These factories are going to get built now over and over and over again in the United States and beyond. So these types of jobs are going to be critical to support artificial intelligence growth and development. Now, the ecosystem that comes out of that is very natural. Think about existing jobs that are going to need the specialized knowledge that AI brings with it. We talked about accountants being pushed out before, but lawyers, content creators, accountants, people that specialize in AI are going to be required during this early first phase. So I believe that the ecosystem that AI brings is going to be new, and it will create a lot of new jobs. Similar to the way that we feared when automotives replaced horse and buggy, we feared the idea of job elimination, but it ended up creating so many jobs that we didn't expect. We're going to see the same thing here with artificial intelligence. The electrician piece of it is critical.
What other kind of opportunities? Real quick, I'm going to give you the last word here. And
well,
this is an ongoing conversation because I think it changes daily. It does. AI changes daily. We see something new pop up. Oh, that's cool. Or that's frightening. And everything in between. Go ahead.
Steve, you know something that I'm very excited about is the fact that coding today is very specialized. There's a small segment of population that knows how to code. Now, when English becomes the new coding language, it allows for creative people all over the world to stand up all different types of utility-based needs, utility-based industries. So think about what happens when people like you, people like me, understand the special needs of our businesses and what we could stand up by simply coding in English. All of a sudden, the entire world could create new digital verticals that could be monetized and grow exponentially. It's going to be wild as we see these types of innovations come throughout, not just America, but on a global scale.
Digital Gruber. You know, I can sleep in. Wouldn't that be I have Max Headroom version of me out here for you folks that are old enough to remember Max Headroom, right? At any rate,
hey, we're gonna have metahumans. You're gonna love the new metahuman that takes care of you at your bank versus the retail experience that we all hate.
Yeah, well, it's going to be metahuman there. It's going to be, the robotic bartender. Optimus is going to be doing my laundry. It's all good. And the computer's going to tell me what shirt I need to buy. It's all good. But it's all changing, and it's changing fast. Mark, really appreciate the conversation. Thank you for being here.
It's such a pleasure. I really appreciate it, Steve.
We'll talk again soon because this is not going anywhere, I can tell you that. Let's go back a little bit, though. Go back a little bit. Have you ever heard somebody say this is unconstitutional? It's easy to hear bold claims in the media, but have you ever taken the time to really understand the United States Constitution yourself? Don't need AI for that. Hillsdale College is offering a free online course called The Federalist, where you can dive into the writings of Alexander Hamilton and James Madison to learn how the Constitution was designed to protect our rights while balancing power. I actually have a preview of it here. Listen.
I don't want to take away to be that democracy is a bad thing. We need more democracy, just not their kind of democracy. Many of us wish we could ignore politics. However, as citizens in a republic, that's not really a convenience that we have. In a self-governing system such as ours, the decisions that are made by politicians, that are made in our national institutions, have a profound effect on every aspect of our lives. In the Federalist Papers, we have the work of two of the most important founders, James Madison and Alexander Hamilton. The authors of the Federalist wanted to educate public opinion about what it meant to be a citizen in a free republic. One of the criticisms that the Federalist would make of our system of government today is, in fact, that there's too little democracy in it, and that our institutions have very little accountability to actual citizens.
There you have it. Too little accountability. 10 30-minute lectures. You can find out more. GruberForHillsdale.com. It's all free. Best education you're going to get. GruberForHillsdale.com. You're going to love these. Go check it out and tell me what you think about it. Send me an email when you're done at SteveGruber.com. GruberForHillsdale.com. right, let's check it out in sports with Brock Palmbush.
With a look at sports, I'm Brock Palmbush. A full schedule of games in Major League Baseball yesterday. American League winners included the New York Yankees, Kansas City, and Texas. National League winners included Atlanta, Cincinnati, and San Francisco. In Cincinnati's victory, they ended the 14-game winning streak of the Milwaukee Brewers, winning 3-2 in 10 innings. In golf, the FedEx Cup playoffs, Scotty Scheffler shot a final round 67 to rally from 4 shots behind and won the BMW Championship at Caves Valley Country Club in suburban Baltimore. The world number one had a birdie chip in on 17 to clinch the victory. He beat third-round leader Robert McIntyre by 2 shots for Scheffler's 5th win of the year. In the WNBA yesterday, there were 5 games. Winners included Indiana, Washington, and Las Vegas. And in the NFL preseason, Jacksonville and New Orleans played to a 17-all tie. That's a look at sports. Back to you, Steve.
All right, Brock. Did you see that shot by Scheffler where he chipped and it went like 103 miles and fell in the hole?
I saw it live. Yeah, it was pretty wild. One of the shots of the year.
Good Lord. Shots of the lifetime. Good Lord. I mean, how long was that? I mean, how far away from the hole? When I didn't hear it all. I just saw it.
Yeah, you were right. Yeah, it's about 8. I think it was like 83 feet. It might have been longer than that, but I mean, that's why he's the world number one. He's best player in the world, Scotty Scheffler.
I had somebody ask me yesterday, and I thought to myself, I don't have any idea. Tiger just gone now? Is that all done? He's gone. It's over.
Tiger Woods will be joining the Senior Tour, or they call it the Champions Tour, next year. He turns 50 at the end of the year, so he'll be playing mostly on the Senior Tour or the Champions Tour next year.
So none of the regular tour events then.
Well, he's eligible for 3 of the 4 majors next year. You might see him play a couple of other tournaments on the regular PGA Tour, but he'll be mostly on the Senior Tour. It's the way it's going to be now.
So Jack Nicklaus, still the greatest of all time.
Nicklaus 1, Woods 2, and then you can figure out the rest from there.
Scheffler's got my vote today. We'll see where that ends up, but he is.
Who's that one guy? John Daly?
Yeah, he's my favorite.
He's my favorite.
He can drive a beer like nobody's business. Thank you, Anthony. All right. We'll take a break and be back in a minute. It's the Steve Gruber Show. always something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
All right, it certainly is. Glad to have you on board as we rip into another hour. Who do you want in your foxhole today? I'm in the foxhole of freedom, fighting for you and telling you the truth every single day, yes. A lot to talk about today. We're going to start with this. The three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, orange juice is going to get a big break for the first time since the 1960s, lowering the sugar content required, meaning American growers are going to do a lot better. That's good news. Number two, a school district in Grand Rapids, Michigan, teaching sixth graders gender and race and anal sex. That's their program in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And number three, Donald Trump issuing a statement on Truth Social here a little bit ago. I'm going to lead a movement to get rid of all mail-in ballots. Posted this just a short time ago. And also, while we're at it, highly inaccurate, very expensive, and seriously controversial voting machines, which cost 10 times more than accurate, and sophisticated watermark paper, which is faster and leaves no doubt at the end of the evening as to who won and who lost the election. We're now the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting. All others gave it up because of the massive voter fraud encountered. We will begin this effort, which will be strongly opposed by the Democrats because they cheat at levels never seen before, by signing an executive order to help bring honesty to the 2026 midterm elections. Remember, the states are merely an agent for the federal government in counting and tabulating the votes. They must do what the federal government, as represented by the President of the United States, tells them for the good of our country to do. With their horrible radical left policies like open borders, men playing in women's sports, transgender and woke for everyone, and so much more, Democrats are virtually unelectable without using this completely disproven mail-in scam. Elections can never be honest with mail-in ballots. And everybody, in particular the Democrats, know this. I and the Republican Party will fight like hell to bring honesty and integrity back to our elections. The mail-in ballot hoax using voting machines that are a complete and total disaster must end now. Remember, without fair and honest elections and strong and powerful borders, you don't have even a semblance of a country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Yeah. There you go. Well, there you have it. Donald Trump saying the Democrats can't win. I think there's a lot of truth to that. And in fact, Victor Davis Hanson talked about it just recently. He thinks the Democrat Party is completely dead. Listen to this.
I do think it's collapsed because by any classical definition, Mark, they lost the 2024 popular vote, the Electoral College vote. They don't have the Congress. They don't have the White House. They don't have the Supreme Court. They're 30-70 on the 30 side of all these issues, from crime, the environment, energy, the border, illegal immigration. And they're frustrated. They're angry because now Donald Trump is doing something they never imagined anybody would do. He's not treating the symptoms of the progressive pathology. He's talking about the sources. So he's going after the institutions that indoctrinate people in the university, NPR, PBS, the elite law firms.
Yeah, the elite law, all of them. The indoctrination from top to bottom, front to back. Look, Democrats are not communists unless you advertise to them that they're communists. Look, Democrats are not communists. Communists are communists. Hanson kept right on laying out the case with this.
Always exercised power irrelevant of whether they actually had political power. They had cultural, social influence through these institutions, foundations, the university, K through 12, corporate boardrooms. And now when he went after woke and ESG and PBS, it's a whole new counter-revolution, and they're melting down. I don't even think there is a Democratic Party right now. It's just an amalgamation of a bunch of different groups, but they're all way to the left. And we shouldn't fool ourselves about New York, Mark. I think it's not going to be. They may win. Mondami may win, but he couldn't win anywhere else, I don't think, other than these blue cities, and that's a minority of the population. So they're going over the cliff, and like any addict, they would rather go over the cliff than quit.
Like any addict, the Democrats would rather go over the cliff than quit. Yeah. Pretty well covers it, doesn't it? Yes. Yes, it does. All right. By the way, some good news. A couple of good news when it comes to the economy. We'll start with this one. Because you probably missed this on Friday, the economy is doing reasonably well. It's not on fire, but it's certainly not a recession either. Go ahead. Let's check the numbers from CNN. Positive numbers from Friday.
Nice to be here on a summer Friday with some good news, right? Consumer spending, the engine of this economy, it increased by a solid amount in July. You see 0.5%. That's exactly as expected. And this is a relief because there were some concerns earlier this year when we saw consumer spending drop. And consumer spending, this is 70% of the economic output. So when we did see those declines, that did raise concerns about consumers possibly being tapped out and all this confusion over the erratic trade war. Also significant, we saw an upward revision to June, right? June was a solid number, and it was revised even higher. You can see this is the trend of monthly increases and decreases for retail sales. And earlier this year, again, you do see those concerning drops. But now, look at this. We have 2 straight months of positive numbers. Now,
positive numbers, 2 straight months. I mean, you can sit here and argue with it. You can sit here and argue that Donald Trump meeting with Putin to attempt peace in Ukraine is somehow bad. You can tell us that boys should play in girls' sports. You can tell us that we can teach kids in 6th grade about anal sex in Grand Rapids, Michigan. You can tell us all sorts of things. We're not buying it. We're not. America's not buying it. You can tell us that D.C. is not safe for having cleaned up homeless encampments and putting extra police and National Guard on the streets. You can tell us that D.C. is not safer, but the truth is, it is. And we all know it. They all know it. And you know it too. Crypto. Do you invest in crypto? Because it's a place that a lot of people have made a lot of money, but maybe not you. You were left behind, but not anymore. Block Trust IRA is changing everything, bringing the crypto opportunity to real Americans like you. With crypto fueling President Trump's America First economic miracle, now is your chance to join the movement. The Animus AI trading platform runs 24/7, crushing old school strategies, helping patriots like you build serious wealth, just like the elites. It's been named the #1 crypto tech platform by Bitcoin Magazine. And Block Trust IRA offers up to $200 million in protection. And some of their clients have seen returns of 250%. It doesn't matter. If you're a teacher, a plumber, a carpenter, if you're retired, doesn't matter. This is your time. You can get up to $2,500 in bonus crypto when you sign up right now. Visit SteveGruberCrypto.com. SteveGruberCrypto.com. All right, we'll take a break and be back. It is the Steve Gruber Show. All right, so 5-Hour Energy, you've seen it. It's been around for years, made just piles of money. Piles of money. 5 hours, every gas station, every place you walk in there, just boom, you knock it down and away you go, right? I know. Some trouble there. Some trouble in paradise. Michigan-based company, by the way. Drew Radiker is the litigation counselor for Vitamin Energy. Drew, good to have you on the program.
Steve, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
It's a very successful company, right? 5-Hour Energy has been, but you've taken issue with them. If I'm understanding this correctly, a federal lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan. Vitamin Energy accuses 5-Hour Energy, which controls, by the way, 90% of the energy shot market, of abusing its market power through placement deals with major retailers. You're saying it's a monopoly, basically, Drew. That's what I get out of this. Your thoughts?
Essentially, yes, Steve, it is. My client, Vitamin Energy, manufactures energy shots. Sold in small bottles. You've probably seen them at gas stations. And as you mentioned, they've probably been 5-Hour Energy's products. My client, Vitamin Energy, entered into the energy shot manufacturing and sales space in 2018. 5-Hour Energy started in 2005. And by 2011, probably controlled 90% of the market. Between 2012 and 2022, to give you an idea of what that market looked like. The energy shot market, of which 5-Hour Energy has at times controlled up to 98%, but always over 90% since 2011, does between 800 million and 1.4 billion in annual retail sales. That market does. So yes, those little energy shots add up. They sell for about $3 a piece, 5 hours do.
So what is Vitamin Energy? What is your brand name?
So Vitamin Energy, we manufacture, really my client, Vitamin Energy, manufactures energy shots. And that's the same thing that 5-Hour does. Our products are different from 5 hours in that, as you might have gleaned from the name vitamin in there, is they provide vitamins in addition to the caffeine that makes an energy shot an energy shot. Essentially, what we're alleging in this lawsuit is that however they got there, Vitamin Energy has had a virtually monopolistic hold on the energy shot market for many, many years. And as competition from other energy shot manufacturers and sellers like Vitamin Energy has ramped up, that 5-Hour has invested its time and efforts in, I guess you'd call them schemes, as certainly what we allege in this lawsuit, to maintain their market dominance and prevent competition. One of the primary ways this has happened is over control of what's called in the business the point of sale area. You'd recognize it if you went to a convenience store. It's the area around the counter, and it's where impulse buy decisions are made. And energy shots are almost always an impulse buy decision. By getting control of that real estate, 5-Hour Energy essentially controls how consumers find energy shots. By doing that, they've made it incredibly difficult for my client or anyone else to get a toehold in this space and to sell their products.
Right. So Vitamin Energy has the same 2 ounce shots, right? These deals are 2 ounces, I believe. So Vitamin Energy puts in, as I would guess, B12, CBD is another product, is another part of it. Caffeine, of course. Found this on quick search here on AI helping me out to get the facts fast. There you go.
Okay.
What is Vitamin Energy's sales? What are its sales levels currently?
Vitamin Energy sales they've been very good, but they're in the convenience store retailer space, which is where the majority of energy shot sales take place, they've been pretty bad once we got into conflict with 5 Hour Energy. I'll give you an example. The Pilot Flying J stores. In 2020, Pilot Flying J stores, which are all across the country, we have a lawsuit pending against them in Orangeburg County, South Carolina. That's one of the many places they do business. In 2020, Pilot Flying J agreed to sell Vitamin Energy products, and they used the sales racks Vitamin Energy provided for them, and they placed them up at the counter. While the racks were placed at the counter, even while the pandemic was going on, sales were very high. And at some point in what looks like 2001, this later came to the attention of our sales representatives. It looks like Pilot, and this is what we're saying in our lawsuit, has moved the Vitamin Energy products that they had away from the point of sale into very hard to find areas in the store, kind of where energy shots go to die from a sales perspective, is what's often called the health and beauty
Right. So your sales, according to online source, about $4 million. Yeah. So that obviously punched you right in the face and knocked you out of the way. Well, we'll see what happens. Please keep us up to speed on this lawsuit. Obviously, it's important to your company and probably to others who would like some traction in that space. I greatly appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much. What we hope to do with our lawsuit is not just to right the wrongs done to us, but to
You got to
make
open up the space. You got to open up the space to other people. That's right.
Right, to make consumer choice a priority.
All right, so here's an odd thing. A U.S. tax court judge has tentatively scheduled a December 1 trial allowing 2 whistleblowers to show they were wrongly denied an award for identifying alleged tax irregularities inside Bill and Hillary Clinton's foundation. But the case is meeting resistance from an unexpected source, the Trump administration. The IRS under Trump filed a motion last week in the case brought by retired federal agent John Moynihan and private fraud expert Larry Doyle seeking to dismiss the case. Judge Alina Marshall set a deadline of September 15 for the petitioners to respond to that motion. The IRS also filed leave for an extension of time to file the administrative record with the court. Weird. You would think that they'd want to get to dig out the dirt, but something's up. Not sure what it is. John Solomon referred to it as a head scratcher. I think that that's probably fair. If you'd like to save a ton of money on your monthly bills for heat and air, well, if you've got a well in your yard, you use propane, if you use heating oil, if you use wood, anything else, got a chance to save you a ton of money by using the well in your yard. It's called Well Connect. It's a hybrid geothermal system that'll extend the life of your furnace and your air conditioner because they get used a lot less in this plan. Just add a Well Connect in as little as 8 hours. You can start saving big. And by the way, you're going to have big savings because you're not spending all that money on heating costs and cooling costs, because that's coming out of the ground and going back out in water. It's a beautiful thing. And if you do it now, big savings from the big beautiful bill are going to go away. There are programs available from the government today, local, state, and federal plans that can put more money back in your pocket to have this beautiful state-of-the-art system. The well in your yard could save you 90% on your utility bills. 90%. Go to wellconnectgeo.com. wellconnectgeo.com. You can find out more. wellconnectgeo.com. We'll take a break and be right back. All right, so my next guest, Mark Tisdale, is from Rochester Hills. He's a Republican there. And he's offering to visit classrooms across the state, talk about the issue of cell phones with kids in class. Apparently, the Democrats think it's a good idea for your kids to have cell phones in school because anything the Republicans come up with must be a bad idea. Kind of an odd point of view, but it seems to be the prevailing point of view on the left. If the Republicans offer it, it must be bad. Strange. Mark, welcome back to the program.
Hey, good morning, Steve. Good to be here.
Good to have you here. All right, look, pretty simple. We don't need cell phones in classes. Nothing good comes from it. It's distracting. It could prompt bad behavior. It could prompt a lot of different things. Why would anybody oppose limiting cell phones in school?
Well, everything that you said is correct, except for the oppose having cell phones in schools. Pretty much everybody does oppose having cell phones in schools. For this particular vote that was in the House, we didn't have enough Republicans on our side of the aisle present for that vote to pass it. And so it appears that there was a caucus decision on the Democratic side of the aisle just to withhold all of their yes votes.
So hold on. Where were the Republicans?
3 were not in attendance.
Why?
That particular day. One was at a conference that he scheduled actually several months in advance, and typically July and August are summer break times, and then 2 were just out, and I don't know what the rationale was or what the reasoning was. But basically, there were 9 Democrats that chose not to vote at all. They didn't vote no. So if they had voted, you could guess that they would have voted yes. So it was obviously a caucus decision just to withhold all yes votes on that particular day.
Yeah, well, Mike Duggan, the Democrat mayor of Detroit, running for governor as an independent, he called out his former, I guess I'll call them former colleagues. I mean, Duggan's a Democrat, but he's running as an independent because he apparently thinks, and he was on the program recently, a lot of silly things that happen on both sides. He said it's everything that's wrong with Lansing, is what he said. I can't disagree with him.
Well, I can't tell you that our side of the aisle has never played politics. It's Lansing.
Of course they do.
Politics occurs.
This is cell phones in school.
But I've never seen it in my 5 years where they've played politics with an issue that has 74% approval.
Right. So are we going to get it back? Are you going to try again?
Yes. We will have another vote on this policy. We will have a statewide standard for schools relative to smartphones in the classroom. It's just a question of when. And so,
school started for a lot of kids today.
That's right. So
maybe it's time to get on that horse and ride it. I'm certainly not blaming you, but you have apparently been told in private that some Democrats regret that they did that and want another shot at it.
Well, my first draft on this bill was June of 2023. I've been working on this from the ground up for quite some time. I've met with superintendents, principals, teachers, licensed counselors, and several members of the Democratic caucus in the House. I know I have broad support on this. Once we hit 56 votes, it very well could go to 70 or 80 yes votes. But it was just a political decision on that particular day that their caucus decided that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I'm just confused by it. Let's see, but you're going to go around. You're going to talk to people. 3 out of 4 people support banning cell phones in the classroom. If I'm understanding this right, you're taking your show on the road, and you're going to talk to people about it. The traveling road show is getting out there. Tell us about that.
Well, we're helping to get support from an advocate in the among the secondary school principals of Michigan. A gentleman testified on behalf of the legislation when it was in committee, and we've just made that general invitation. Any civics, social studies, history, government class that would like to have me come in and talk about this, I'm available. And it's the vast majority of students, that terms of use agreement that's on all of these social media applications is a contract, and it's a multi-page contract. Some of them running 30 pages. No one knows what they're agreeing to when they click that I've read and agree to this contract and move forward. And the students have no idea of what business model they're agreeing to and exactly how their online experience and history is being used by these social media sites to pull them in fact, addict them. That's the whole point, is to keep them coming back for more and more and more. And the presence of the cell phone, why would we allow any child to walk around school with a device that they're addicted to? It makes no sense whatsoever. And so it's just those kinds of base conversations that you have to have with the end users, these teens and tweens, about how they're being used, how their online histories and behavioral patterns are being used, and the damages that are associated with that.
Absolutely. You make a great point there. We're allowing them to walk around with something that they're addicted to, that the algorithms are designed to make them click and stay and click and stay and continue and continue and continue. And right, try to take a cell phone away from a teenager.
Well,
if
you think your child is not addicted, take their smartphone away from them for the weekend, and then tell me if they act like an addict. They'll be searching the house. If it's in a locked drawer, they would try and unlock the drawer or break into the drawer. Right. It's just the nature of the beast, and we've got to come to grips with it. And really, this is a ubiquitous problem now, but it's only about a decade old, so we're all still learning.
Yeah. Well, just a little bit older than that, but yeah, we're still learning, and unfortunately, it's an ongoing problem. Well, I wish you well, and I want you to come back and tell us when you break through the logjam, Mark, because it's important. And if the Democrats want to do over, well, maybe this time we give them one and say, hey, do it right this time. Mark, greatly appreciate it.
We'll be back at it, and we will eventually have a statewide law.
There you go. Mark Tisdale from Rochester Hills, representing that district as a Republican. Sir, thank you.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. There you have it. Still to come, Ivy is going to be here. Did you see James Comey doing this bizarre 5-minute video over the weekend talking about how he's a Swiftie and Taylor Swift's music got him through tough times? Blah, 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 blah. What grown man talks like that? He was the former director of the FBI. What a twit. I wonder if he'll be a Swiftie when he's in his prison cell. Maybe Ivy and I can talk about that when we come back. See ya. All right, Anthony, just let me know when you get to that. I was just asking, it's 5.5 minutes of bizarre rambling and stupidity as James Comey sits up there and talks for 5 minutes on a video. You saw this, Ivy, right? Talking about how he's a Swiftie and how Taylor Swift's music got him through tough times. And she always had a song for whatever he was doing. I'm like, you're a grown man. You were the director of the FBI. What a twit bag.
I have the clip.
Oh, yeah, wait, you want to play a little bit, Ivy?
Sure.
Good morning, by the way.
Yes,
good morning. He's a twit bag. All right, here's a little bit of it.
We need to stand up to jerks and defend what matters. But I think we have to try to do that without becoming like them, which is what makes me think about Taylor Swift. She's made clear that she sees Donald Trump for what he is, while our elderly makeup-covered president is posting about whether Taylor Swift is still hot and declaring that he can't stand her. What's she doing? Living her best life. She said something about dealing with internet trolls that stuck with me. Think of your energy as if it's expensive, she said, as if it's like a luxury item. Not everyone can afford it. We can't stop people from being jerks. What we can do is stop it from hurting us, from changing us.
I'm sorry.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
He's attacking Donald Trump by claiming he's a Swiftie.
I think that this is pandering to the left and the 40% of people that are on his side.
I don't think there's that many people on his side. Now, that video.
No, I'm saying 40% of
shameless.
the voting bloc is Democrats. 40%.
Anthony says he should not be allowed around children.
But this is the deal. I think he is saying, "Oh, President Trump is bullying me," and how we should be more like Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
this is the undertones of this conversation of what he's trying to say. It's that Donald Trump is bad and he's being targeted, which we all know he's guilty of some serious stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll be a Swiftie in his prison cell.
No, he's trying to get all of the young people and the people on the left to feel sorry for him when he broke some serious laws.
Yeah, he's just being ridiculed for being a damn fool.
I don't think this has actually, I don't even think this has anything to do with Taylor Swift. I think this is a way.
I think it does. I think he really went to her concerts. I think he's really.
Right, that may be true, but I don't think that that's actually the point of it. I think the point of it is for him to say that the president's bad and he's being targeted and he's being bullied by the orange man, and that we really should be a lot more like Taylor Swift, who just lets things roll off their shoulder.
Yeah.
And
maybe you're right. Yeah, I see that. I see that.
Yeah.
But I also see a grown man who's a twit.
Well, yes, I agree.
Who shouldn't be allowed around children. Right.
Yeah. Well, if you're praising, this pop star in the way that you are, it's very odd.
It's very odd.
It's very odd.
Anyhow, what was on your mind? I didn't mean to sidetrack you today.
No. I think that's a great topic. I mean, we could talk about this for hours because I think people. Well, I don't know. I'm not really a Taylor Swift fan. I don't mind some of her songs.
I'm not.
I don't really care. I don't actually follow musicians or famous people in that way. I know some people do, but I don't know. I don't, like I said, I don't think it has anything to do with Taylor Swift. And I think it's a panic mode, actually.
Well, I think there's truth to that.
Him.
Yeah, I think there's truth to that. Boy, is he getting crushed by it, too.
Right. I mean, how can you, when you look at the stark contrast between how he treated Hillary Clinton's email scandal and then how he treated Donald Trump during his presidency and with the whole Russia collusion.
Sure.
I'm sorry, but those two things, those are stark, and it's obvious that you actually favored a side.
You bring something else up that I have to comment on, and that's Hillary Clinton on Friday coming out and saying, well, if Donald Trump can get this Ukraine deal done, he definitely deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. Who's begging for a pardon?
Uh-huh.
Who's looking for some way out?
Wait a minute, you said something positive about it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Clinton Global Initiative and the Clinton Foundation are so deep in their necks right now of potential corruption. And it's weird, the Trump administration, I just mentioned this, I don't know if you heard me say it, is saying, well, we don't need to pursue this for the IRS. What? It's on Just the News with John Solomon. Head scratchers, John Solomon puts it. I agree, it's a head scratcher. If they're taking in millions of dollars. Chelsea got like $80 million
Yeah.
out of that deal.
Right. It's a very, I mean, that whole family is corrupt, as
Completely.
everyone knew and knows who's an honest person and who can actually dig deep into what's been happening. But, you know, I think about Trump's first presidency, and I actually think it was a blessing that he didn't get elected, and that whole thing happened in 2020. Because he had 4 years to stew. He had all this time to research. And he learned and planned, because now he actually is draining the swamp.
Oh,
he
he's
actually
executing.
is going out. He doesn't have the barriers like he did before,
True.
like with Bob Barr and Rex Tillerson.
Bill
and
Barr.
these Bill Barr. Sorry,
Yeah.
yes, thank you, I misspoke. And you know, so now he has this. All of his picks are doing exactly what he wants them to do. He's not taking any BS. They're going and finding the truth. They've unleashed the FBI. They have an attorney general that are backing them. You know, they're actually doing exactly what they said they were going to do. And, you know, there's been a bunch of comments online about how, you know, oh, it's not, you know, they're picking up families and they're picking up this in terms of deportations. They're picking up criminals, like hundreds of thousands of criminals that they've deported. But also, 1 million people have self-deported.
Or more. It's actually higher than that now, I think. Might be closer to 2.
You know, I actually had seen Joan Rogan, you know, talking about this, saying, oh, I think people are frustrated because they didn't think, you know, laborers were going to be picked up and sent back home. But it doesn't change the fact that they're here illegally. And then they're employed illegally.
Right.
So
it's interesting what the Democrats support today. They support leaving homeless people and junkies and criminals on the streets of D.C. Don't clean up D.C.
Right.
Criminals in America will fight to defend
what's
their rights.
best for the global world, not what's best for the United States of America and its people. That's
What's
what
best
I
for
feel
us.
like they're most concerned with.
Ivy, love you. Greatly appreciate your input, as always.
Thank you, Steve. I love you too.
Been kind of a fun program, hasn't it? Yeah. Tim Young in the first hour there. comedian, host, speaker, author, become a good friend of mine in the last couple of years. The AI thing. I'm with Mike Rowe on this. Make sure your kids, if you got kids or grandkids that are learning, learn to do something. Learn a trade, a blue-collar trade. Be an electrician, a plumber. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. Whatever you can get done, do that. And use your hands. AI can't replace a carpenter. AI is not going to put a new roof on my home. AI is not going to, change a tire on my car. There's things that you can do, get in the trades, learn something. Electrician, HVAC, plumbing, heating, roofing, carpentry, any of it. Build stuff. The 3D printer is not going to build your house. I don't believe. Some people think it can be done. Maybe it can, but it's not likely to take over too quickly. So learn a trade. Learn to be plugged in, I guess. And, go from there. Anyhow, great show. Really appreciate you being here. All eyes today on Zelensky and the entourage. The entourage includes leaders of NATO, European countries. Donald Trump invited them all, and according to Caroline Levitt this morning, the reason for that, he's more focused than ever of trying to get this war ended. Not a ceasefire in place, the war ended. We'll see if he can be successful. But for anybody who criticizes that, what the hell is wrong with you? Seriously. Well, Donald Trump said he's Putin's puppet. Shut up. Seriously, just shut up. Trump is trying to do something historical and end a war that we're not involved in. It'd be number 8. Give credit where credit is due. If you're so deranged because Trump does it, I can't stand it, stop it. Go somewhere else, let the adults talk. Fight the good fight and keep the faith. God bless America, my friends. I'm Steve Gruber. This is the Steve Gruber Show. Remember, only you can save America, and remember, only you can choose who will be in your foxhole.